Hi everyone, welcome back. So, my Blend Bunny order just came in and I am super excited. I did order a couple of things. They did have like some sales going on. I don't know if they're just discontinuing stuff or what, but definitely I would check out their site if you were looking for some of their stuff. A lot of the things were on sale. So, we'll go ahead and just pull out a couple of the things that I did get on sale. So, I did get another one of their brush sets. This is only 15, maybe it was 8. I don't actually remember. I'll have to, if I remember, I'll put the prices in. This was only 15, so I did pick up the Machina palette for only 15. I know this is not why we're here, but I will show you it just if you are curious. I was really excited that it was on sale for so cheap. They did have quite a few of their palettes. I forget one that I was tempted, but it was like kind of still expensive to me, so I didn't pick it up. It's actually really pretty, so I might film like I'll probably have to film like a short or something just to show you this if any of you are curious. I don't know, I think it'd be fun to play around with, but the reason why we are here is for the collaboration with Donidarkowitz. At least that's what I know her by on Instagram, but this is, oh it is, yeah, Donidarkowitz, hello. Little Miss She Never Misses. This is the outer packaging. I'm sure all of us have seen this. I did just pick this one up. As you know, I'm not really, well, if you don't know, I'm not a big fan of lip glosses, so I did not want to pick up, like, the lip thing. The highlighter, to be honest, I'm sure it's really gorgeous, but I already have highlighters that are kind of similar to what I saw, so I decided to pass. I think that was it that I can remember in the collection. But this is what this sucker is, and I do apologize, random, if I look kind of a little whatever. I did just get off of work and this came in the mail, so I was super excited. This came like super fast. This has only been like 4 days, I think, that it came in. So I definitely wanted to play with it just to give you my first impression. So let's go ahead, open it up. So you got a big old mirror. I'm not going to show you this. This is what the palette looks like. Sorry, it is upside down. I'm sure everybody has already seen this. So initially when I first looked at this palette, I was really tempted, I know it sounds horrible, to not pick it up. It just had, I was worried that it was not going to have depth. I'm definitely seeing some depth shades, especially at the top, which I do appreciate, which is something that is super normal. Ooh, I just got one of the shimmers. Super normal with Blend Bunny having that depth, so I do appreciate that. I was a bit nervous of, like, let's say these two shades here, which I do still feel like they look a little similar. Let's go ahead and swatch these out. They're definitely not. So the shades are, Panic is the darker one, and then What's Up Sucka is the lighter one. So you can definitely tell they are not the same shade. They just looked very similar to me, and they still do in pan. If you do not know, I'm colorblind, so, like, kind of. So certain times, mainly for me, undertones is where I really struggle. It definitely, I don't know, I'm not, how do I say this? I'm not going to lie and say that when I first looked at this palette that I was like, yes, this is like pulling me in, because it didn't. I don't know why it didn't, but it didn't. I do appreciate the columns, we'll say, of the colors. You got like green, blue, this whole row of shimmers. You got purple and this like red. So I do really appreciate this, especially with Blend Bunny kind of idea, is that you could literally, if you're not new to my channel, I tend to like to do a lot of monochrome looks. So for me, if I was like, what do I want to do with this palette, which we will be doing a couple looks in a second, so either one or two, we'll see. But I do appreciate the fact that I could be like, you know what, I just want to do green. Boom, green. I really like that. It's super simple, and it does have these, again, shades in the center that are all shimmers. So usually for me, I don't know about all of you, Blend Bunny's formula tends to be super good. Usually, especially with their matte, so I'm not 100% worried about that. Usually for me, I am like, it's funny, I'm not a massive shimmer person, but it's weird. I say that I'm not, but I am a shimmer person. Like, I absolutely love shimmers. I love really good shimmers, so I think it'd be kind of cool for us just to, I'm just going to swatch maybe the shimmers, so I'm just going to do this, like, middle row. Ooh. So there definitely is some duochromes in this. I apologize. I do not know, like, the actual information. As far as I can see, nothing really says. So yeah, I definitely know that there is certain shades that are more duochrome, things like that. For me, if you are not new, I tend to, I guess just to know, I tend to look at shades at like face value. So for me, a lot of times I'm not going to see. So here's that center row, just to kind of like slightly show you as I'm talking. I tend to look at it kind of just as you're seeing here. So like this shade here is definitely like a duochrome, but I feel like, or you know, could be multiple. A lot of these could be multiple. I don't really feel like you're going to see a lot of that, or I don't tend to feel like I see a lot of that in certain shades. I think you definitely can, but it's kind of hard to see. One thing I will say, this center shade here is not, I don't know, I don't know if it's meant to be more like a topper. It's definitely there, but the other ones are kind of putting it to shame, in all honesty. We'll definitely have to play with it, though, and see. I do feel like, though, it is leaning a bit more gold, which is interesting. So let me go ahead and do the outer shades. And then one thing that when I was reading, or not reading, when I was like watching a couple people talk about this palette, they said that this formula definitely feels, ooh, those are really pretty. This formula definitely feels a bit different from Blend Bunny's normal shimmers, which I agree and I kind of don't agree. I don't know. I think that a lot of their other ones were not bad in my opinion, at least from the ones that I've tried, at least in their newer palettes. But I'm not really feeling any, like, what do they call it, putty shades. I mean, I am and I'm not. I guess I could definitely say She Never Misses feels a bit kind of on that putty. Like, I could definitely stick my finger in there and move the shade around. I guess I can show you. I don't know if you can see my fingerprint. So, if that is something you don't like, yeah. So, I don't know why. I forget whose video I was watching or whatever I was watching where they were saying, like, oh, these aren't like that. Some of them are. So, Rock Steady is that, like, shimmer on the bottom. Let's just see. Okay, so Kenneth. This one is not. I think I already pretty much know. Oh, this one kind of is a little bit. I don't even say that. It looks like Erase, kind of. E-R-I-S-T-D. I don't know, whatever. So I feel like some of them definitely can't. Some of them are definitely a lot more. Like, Hey, Hi, Hello. Definitely is moving around. And then Slither is like a little bit. So maybe that's just normal for like shimmer formulas to do that. I don't really fully know. But I do know that a lot of people, not a lot, but like some people have issues with creasing on their eyes, especially with formulas like that. So just so you know, in case you did not know that, now you know. All right, let's go ahead and jump into a look. I literally don't know what I want. I'm really intrigued by this shade, Goblet of Fire. It's really pretty. I feel like on camera, the duochrome is definitely picking up different. It's like it looks kind of pink. To me, again, colorblind, but it's more like a goldenish color to me when I see it. It's just really pretty. It's a very fiery, yes. It's weird because it's not, showing up correct, but it's so pretty. Well, whatever, correct to me. What I think would be fun for our looks is I am going to go ahead and use this brush set. The two that are really standing out to me that I really want to try, and I apologize, the rest of my makeup is not matchy, and I do apologize. But I'm really thinking of doing this row here, like the reddish row, and then the blue row. All I have on my eyes is Milani eyeshadow primer all over the eyes. Let's do blue side first. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start with one of the pencil brushes. This is the B3. Hey Good Night. That's the deepest kind of blue shade. I'm curious to see how deep this is. Taking this to the outer, like, colored part of my eye. I'm gonna wing that up. If this is boring too, I do apologize. This is a really simple way that I tend to do my eyeshadow, but I feel like it is a way that works for me, and I just like it. I don't know. I think it's fun. So, replicating the exact same thing on top, taking this shade to the outer colored part of my eye, and kind of just filling in where we did that wing shape. I don't know if I'm gonna use... Let me swatch these. These look really similar to me, the two blues, as in terms of, like, depth. Sorry, I'm getting, like, swatches everywhere. They're not quite, but do I want... I mean, I guess we will a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take... This is the B1 brush, dipping in with that shade Have Some Decorum, this blue. Just taking that around the shape. So it is a bit brighter blue, so that's nice. I'm excited to jump into this bright shade in a second. That's going to be really pretty. I almost wish there was like a bright blue shimmer. Like a lighter one. We might go into the one next to it. Slytherin. Interestingly enough, Slytherin. That's funny. think we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and take our biggest fluffy brush. This is the B5. And I think I am going to start off with Mezzo, that second lightest blue shade. And I'm going to take this just throughout the crease, pulling it forward. Ooh, this is a really pretty blue. Like the brightness of this. While it is still summer, which I apologize, I do not like the summer, but I feel like this would be a perfect, like certain shades to me just like read summer, and this is giving summer. So far everything is blending out like so easy. I'm gonna go ahead and just with my finger take Hey Hi Hello. I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp that into the center. Ooh, that's really pretty. So again, this is one of those shades that feels a bit putty to me. It's not like tacky though, like I've definitely had shades that feel a lot more tackier. I'm gonna go ahead, wipe off that big fluffy brush, the B5, and I'm gonna go ahead and dip in with, I'm gonna have to look this up, but I know that their name is pronounced Taj, I believe, so I don't know if it's like Taj Era. I apologize, I need to look this up. But I'm going to go and take some of that into the absolute front. So let's take, I'm going to go ahead and take one of these pencil brushes I don't think I used yet, a B4 brush. And I'm going to go ahead and dip in with a bit of Kenneth. We're just going to apply that to the inner part of the eye. Ooh, that's really pretty. I love how it really works with this like blue. And honestly, for me, I would call this like good. I think I am tempted because I do want to see how this center shade here, I'm a little scared it's going to flip more gold, but you know what? We're not going to know until we try. So I know this is not from the collection, but this is just a flat shadow brush from Melt. So I'm going to take that white shimmery shade, and I'm just going to apply that to the brow bone. So far I'm like seeing a little bit of like some shine to it. I think it's doing something. I really feel like this shade is definitely meant to be like more of a topper. So let's take a little bit into the inner corner. So I do feel like that made that a bit shinier. So that definitely did something. I actually feel like this is very like, it's like a good winter kind of look. Very, yeah, snow queen kind of vibe. Absolutely love that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our second look. So I do have, if you're not new, I always have a towel that I will use to like wipe my brushes off on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with these same brushes so we can still use them. Read Mortuary. And this is just, you know, my first time playing with this. So I do apologize if this seems, like I said, a bit boring or whatever as something I normally do. I will try to like play with this on my own and get some more like creative ideas, or even see, like, I know there was a photo that they did on Instagram that I recreated. I did not post it. Maybe I'll post it in here, but I actually did that with well, I used Blend Bunny, but like not this palette, and I did like how it turned out. I'm so curious to see how this shimmer is gonna look. I'm almost tempted just to do something I've done before where you just lay like all your mattes kind of in a row and then apply the shimmer on top. Let's do that, because I just want to see how that's going to look. Like, all the mattes in a row and still kind of going around like I'm doing. Wiping off same brush. So I'm going to go ahead and take that shade Pain. Oops, sorry. Let me show you. Pain, which is the red. I'm really excited for the orange. The orange looks stunning. I wonder if they're going to do like a video. I'll have to see, because I feel like they at one point did YouTube. I don't know if they do YouTube anymore. They probably honestly did an Instagram talking about it, so I should definitely check that out to know. These brushes definitely feel a little different than my original, which I kind of love. They're very soft. Before, we're going to go into that orange. I guess while I'm doing this, I can kind of talk. I'm thinking of doing a full video about this, but something I was really thinking about, weirdly enough, while I was driving home today, is my series that I have been doing, my Playing with Old Makeup series. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, and if anybody is like watching this and knows of that series from me, I would really appreciate your feedback. I do feel like I'm still going to do a long form video kind of discussing it. I really have enjoyed doing that series, but one of the things that I'm kind of getting a little bummed with is, for one, lately I've been pulling palettes. Like, I pulled one today, which, like, here, I'll show you. I do apologize. It's not relevant, but it's a really cool, like, cute palette. This is, like, an older one from a brand called Ouija Cosmetics that no longer exists. But, like, I did a look with it, and, like, it just, the quality is, like, crap, honestly. But because I kind of started this journey of, like, oh, I gotta, you know, get at least one look out of all these makeup palettes that I have, I'm very tempted to, like, go through. Like, my goal was to finish up all of the palettes, like, go through all of them, and then make a long-form video going through all the palettes and being like, okay, which ones do I want to? And I'm not going to declutter. At least at this point in my journey with makeup, I really don't want to necessarily declutter anything, but I do want to put certain things away because I know it's horrible and it's definitely part of our society, but I do kind of like the idea of collecting, and I don't necessarily want to get rid of anything, but I can definitely admit that certain things are not good quality as the quality that we have now, and that's something that's, like, kind of saddened me. Let me stop for a sec. I'm going to take this. This is the B1, and we're going to dip in with Fuzzy. You know what? I lied. We're going to take the B5 and dip in with that Fuzzy shade. I feel, so, like, for example, I'll do my makeup, obviously, every day, especially when I go to work. I'll do my makeup, and I'll be playing with the makeup that I, like, actually want to play with, and I find myself, when I do these videos, especially lately, this whole freaking past month, I've been freaking pulling palettes, except for the one by Shroud. I do like that palette, but even that one, like, I feel like I'm kind of like, it's cute, I like it, but I'm almost, like, ready to move on. And that's something I feel like I'm finding with a lot of these palettes that I have, that I'm like, okay, I like it, it's cute, but I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to play with something different, and I feel like I'm almost worried that that's really, well, not worried, but, like, is it coming across that I'm like, I don't want to play with this? And I want to be, obviously I'm excited about makeup, I love makeup, I want to be bringing you stuff that, like, I actually want to play with. So I think that that's something that I'm kind of thinking about redoing it. Like, I feel like I still want to do it. It's so difficult. I feel like trying to do content creation, especially when, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I don't get it, like the shorts and all of that, like, you know, or it's not that I don't get it, but I feel like, oh, okay, I feel like I can do a short for, like, one video. I have, like, an idea for a short for, like, one video, which is great, but then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do for, like, the next one? You know, or whatever, and then I feel behind because I don't feel like my brain works as fast as a lot of people's who are doing this or who are posting TikToks, and it means, like, nothing to them. I'm just like, I do not have the brain power to do that. I don't know. Okay, I am gonna go ahead. So this is it for this eye, I think. Yeah, I think we're, like, pretty good. Definitely giving autumnal, which I do love that. So I really want to do this shade Goblet of Fire. It's very interesting that I've realized she has two so far references to Harry Potter, kind of. The Slytherin obviously is not spelled like Slytherin, but Goblet of Fire is, which is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I love Harry Potter too. Obviously, J.K. Rowling is a little problematic, but she knew. Oh, sorry. So I'm taking Goblet of Fire and just having that all over the lid. I think that does look pretty. I love how, like, polar opposite these eyes are, and that was, like, so not even, like, on purpose. Definitely I could see myself taking my time more and kind of emphasizing this red more, which we definitely might do and see. I kind of love this. I kind of love this fire and ice kind of thing, even though it was not on purpose at all. I'm almost tempted to take a little bit, and I just realized, is it showing? I think it's showing up true, hopefully. I'm almost tempted to take this shade called Cowboy Country, which is another duochrome or something. I feel like it's kind of gold to me, but to you, I'm sure it looks a little pinky. So those layered together do look a little similar, I'm not gonna lie. But they still look really pretty. So let's do a little bit of Rock Steady. I think I'm gonna use a brush. Let's take that original flat brush that we used for this other side, because I want to do that. Rock Steady into the inner part of the eye. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of glitter glue because that is not picking up at all. Just the NYX glitter primer. Same brush. Gonna tap. Okay, that's working. I feel like this shade just might do better with your finger. Oh, hello, absolutely. So this is a thinner shade for sure. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. That is really pretty. Okay. Yeah, baby, we got that fire and ice. You know what, as I'm talking, let's not be lazy. Let's go with our fluffy brush, a little bit of the red. Really blow this out. Yes. I really am liking this. So I think this palette so far is really, really good. But I do think that this is all looking super good. Definitely let me know what you think. Did you pick up this palette? Are you gonna pick up this palette? I do think it's a really cool one. And I'm super, super excited for Donidarkowitz. They definitely deserve this. Super, super talented. And yeah, super stoked. I do hope that this one does really, really well for them in Blend Bunny. And yeah, I'm actually really happy that I did pick this up. Definitely different than I was expecting, but I think it's really fun. I do, again, really appreciate that they did that same kind of color scheme that they normally do. I appreciate the different shimmers. They're really fun. And I do really like how I feel like the center row can kind of mix and match with a lot of the different looks that you might create, which I do appreciate that as well, because originally I was a little nervous that there were some not like bright enough shades for me that I would think I would want, but as you can see by what I've created, there definitely are. But I'm gonna stop gabbing and I will let you go. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more content like this or content just in general from me. I do love doing this and I think it is super fun. I hope you are having a wonderful rest of your day. Spirit fingers, I guess. And I will see you on my next one. Okay, bye.